it exists today in the United States, where I think that feminist movement is 50-50. I think that quite a strong part of it is used, at least the least you can say, by those in power to, we are bombing Iraq to liberate Iraqi women, the irony being, that whatever you say against Saddam, but in Iraq, of all Arab countries, it was probably the country where the role of the women were most emancipated, and if anything, the women are now much more oppressed. So it's in external politics, in inner politics in the United States, quite a lot of feminism, de facto, at least this academic feminism, has a secretly coded class dimension, which is upper middle class women making fun of primitive lower class women who, don't protest, like to be beaten by their husbands, and so on and so on. All these stupid lower class redneck fundamentalists, and so on and so on. So that's my point here, that we should gather the courage of saying no, not that feminism, even at some point, even with race struggle, of course I'm a priori brutally against racism, but it can be more complex. What we need today, if you ask me, what we need today is more of a spirit. Here I agree with the essay that was published 2 issues ago in New Left Review, an interview with Benny Morris. He's almost my hero now. Not that I agree with him, but you know who was Benny Morris? The Israeli historian who stated some 10 years ago already, he discovered the ethnic cleansing aspect of already the first Israeli-Arab war. How Israeli settlers were directly doing, small scale, but nonetheless, slaughter, rapes to seed panic among the Arabs, and so on and so on. All the fundamentalist Zionists were mad at him, he was the hero of the left. Then he surprised everyone later by stating, but it had to be done. That was the only choice. Let's be clear. The idea of a peaceful state of Israel, living in peaceful coexistence with Arabs, was impossibility from the very beginning. I tend to agree with it. Of course, I don't share his conclusion, but I think we should drop this easy liberal dream, everything would be okay if only they would be a little bit more humanitarian with Palestinians and so on. I'm not saying this is not even an argument against the Israeli state. This is just that we should have to abandon the usual leftist utopia and to be brutally open. No, there is an objective deadlock. I don't think that there was at any point a possibility of a sovereign state of Israel living really in, taking into account how the state of Israel was structured, taking into account what the Arab nations were. I don't think there ever was a chance. We need this kind of a brutal, open spirit. And not just, it might have been better with a little bit more tolerance and so on and so on. We need more of this frank brutality.
Thank you. I can see 3 hands. I'm going to call you.
So I did play my role of the fool, so to give the people the time to...
Hi. I was interested in the connection between what you were saying about capitalist utopia and the Matrix movies, and it's been a while since I saw the 3rd Matrix movie, but I remember what struck me about it was that it appeared to be advocating almost pacifism, in that the main character basically had to let Agent Smith beat the crap out of him before he could actually get anywhere, and then there's the whole sort of passive being enveloped by the machines and all that sort of stuff. And I was wondering if you had any thoughts on that.
I can be brief here. Yes, I totally agree with you. This is the key scene, and this is the lie of the film. Sorry, I will be very brief because maybe all of you did not see the film. You know what's for me the problem? I started to, what's the English expression, smell a rat at the end of part 2. You remember where Wachowski brothers broke the rule. That is to say, you remember already at the end of part 2, a miracle impossibility in our real life happens not in the Matrix universe, but in real life, in real world, whatever we call it. You remember a bullet flies towards Neo and he stops it. You remember this. This is crucial. I think they started to cheat there. It's as if you read, it's the same cheat as to give you another idea. I'm here in England, the land of logic and deduction, detective novels. Imagine reading a detective novel and then all of a sudden Hercule Poirot or Sherlock Holmes would have said, you are the murderer, how did you learn it? I had a dream and I discovered it. It's not part of the rules, it's cheating. In the same way, and at that point, I think, Wachowski brothers were left only with two choices. Either postmodern crap, that is to say, in part 3 you discover how our reality is just another matrix, there is no reality, there is blah blah blah, blah blah blah, or a Christ-like orientation. So I think it's obviously that they made a kind of a Christian option, Christ figure, but I think it's a mocking, anti-Semitic term, because in a true Christ-like confrontation, Neo would have to be killed by the architect, by the father. This is an obscenity. This is like the exchange is with, as you pointed out, the exchange is with Agent Smith, who, incidentally, is for me the only sympathetic character in the entire film. No, my guy, no? He is the crowd multiplying and so on. No, but what I want to say is that he's sacrificing himself to the outcast to save the social pact. It is as if, imagine what this would be in the biblical terms. Christ saying, I will sacrifice myself to bring peace between the Jewish hierarchy and the Romans. I mean, precisely when the film wants to be Christian, it makes a totally wrong Christian metaphor, giving it a totally conformist twist. So I think that, again, that's what's so interesting, is that the film couldn't find its way, and it's socially conditioned. But I agree with you, that's the most interesting, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Thank you. I'd like to call you over there.
Yeah, I haven't quite got a fully developed point, but I think one of the things that we've been witnessing in Britain that illustrates very well the sort of like yes and no operation of ideology is the allowing of someone like Kitten onto Big Brother. What was kind of like, it's a reality TV show on Channel 4. And they had a contestant on it called Kitten. What was astonishing was the fact that she was thrown out for breaking the rules, whereas what she was actually doing was playing by the rules absolutely, in terms of like it's a game of exploitation. The show was exploiting her, and she was exploiting the show. And it was the fact that the capitalism plays those kinds of double games.